Hey, you're on the Bible Forum. It's Sunday night, September 1st, 2019. I'm Warren Sprouse. UNC Berkeley has a new course. They're calling it Adulting. This is a course of study that is meant to fill the blind spots in student education regarding the mundane tasks of life that they call adulting. The class is a student-run course. That gives you some idea what's going on. Designed by someone named Belle Lau, a 20-year-old integrated biology student, and her friend Jenny Zhao. They say, quote, "We realize the things we don't learn in school are topics like taxes and just how to take care of yourself." Now keep in mind, these are not courses of study unless you're in an MBA course. These are things you can take a la carte. The course description lists some of the skills that are being taught. It says the school system does not require a class for students to learn how to live in the real world and function as an adult. And I would agree. I would say that's your parents' responsibility. They go on to say we often enter college unprepared to take care of ourselves. Why is that? Because our parents didn't do their job. We go on. Many life skills, including how to develop good habits, manage stress, pay taxes, budget our spending, income, and live a healthy lifestyle, are necessary, especially when college is the bridge to adulthood. No, it's not. This course, it says, will explore the many dimensions of how to successfully adult. Now, Lau admits that she is not a life expert herself, being as young as she is, but that the course will bring in experts on various topics to help everyone learn the skills they lack. She said, "We don't really know that much, so we're all learning together. We're the middlemen trying to get professionals to talk about these topics to students." Now, we need professionals to do what parents used to do every day as they went about their daily tasks, living life. We have to pay professionals to do that. Did you get that? They're saying out loud that the family is gone. The structure is gone. The reason for existence no longer exists. There is now simply a group of unrelated people sleeping in the same house. Nobody has any authority over anybody else. No one has any responsibility they don't want to have. We're all just simply in the same building for about 10 hours a day, and most of that time we are unconscious. We don't eat together, we don't play together, we don't respect one another. Children grow into the terrible twos, and they never quite evolve out of them. The word no is no longer a constructive word, so we're not allowed to use it. The word authority has become a dirty word, so we can't apply it. Have you seen these children? They grow into teenagers who are treated like adults. They believe they are adults. And then when they self-destruct, their parents are shocked. And they start looking for someone or something to blame. They blame everybody but themselves. Is that television? Is that media? Is that stuff that they filled their heads with? Excuse me. Parent, you had the switch. You were supposed to turn it off. You were supposed to protect them from the garbage. They brought these children into the world and are thereby accountable for how they were brought up and how they developed. But they abandoned that. They gave it over to the television. They gave it over to the internet. They gave it over to their little phones. They gave it over to teachers. They gave it over to the neighborhood. Everybody was involved in educating, training these children except the parents. The people who brought these children into the world, the people who were accountable for their upbringing, are no longer so. Childhood is a training time. It's not a playtime. Children are being trained how to take care of themselves, to know what the difference is between right and wrong, to know what really is good and what isn't, to know what's decent and what isn't. Fail those courses, and your children will grow up morally, socially, and spiritually defective. And they're not going to learn these things in school. And if you don't believe me, look around. What do you see on the horizon for the crop that is coming up now? What will the next generation look like? What will they act like? What will the next generation consider to be moral, right, wrong? The parents of today, for the most part, there are some excellent parents, but the general group have no idea just how their children are using them. Everything is about them except responsibility. From what to wear, whether or not they do their homework, what they have for lunch. It's all about the parents. Without these parents, these kids wouldn't be able to function except online or at a party. But the parents are gone. When I was in school, if I forgot my homework, it never occurred to me to call my mother and have her bring it to me. Never crossed my mind. Primarily, I knew it was my responsibility and I failed. And whatever punishment I received, whatever downside there was on me. But secondly, I knew she wouldn't bring it. You see, that was part of my education, called responsibility. And being abused by my parents that way, I learned to be responsible. A character quality very much necessary for a successful life. I work for a company, part-time, but I work for them. And I do not work in their building. I drive a shuttle bus, a van. I'm out on the road. They have no idea what I'm doing. They call me. Where are you? I can tell them anything I want them to believe. What are you doing? I can tell them anything at all. They don't know. They want me to come and do this job for them. And they want to know how far away I am so that if I'm too far away, they'll get someone else to do it. They're not checking up on me. I said something to my boss one day because he commented on the way I was doing my job. And I said something to him at the end of the day. You know, this is the only way I know how to do it. What are you saying to me? And he laughed. He said, I was just teasing you. I took it seriously. We got kids today that won't do that. I watch them where I work, young adults. And they walk around like they got nothing to do and all day to get there. And when you give them a job, okay, they just kind of, hop to, let's go, let's get it done. We've got things to do. We're dealing with customers. This guy needs to get back to work and he needs to get there by 7 o'clock. What are you doing? Oh, let's go. I got to get you there. I'm going to work the schedule out. Mary has to go home, but Bob has to go to work or vice versa. And it's out of Mary's way to take Bob to work. Bob gets to go to work. Mary has asked, if she minds, and they never say no. But if they did, we'd find him another ride. I mean, this is the kind of thing that's going on. We're not raising children up who can be that independently responsible. The course I took in adulting was called life. I lived it with parents who knew what it meant. How about you? You see, when I got married, I knew something. I knew what marriage was. I also knew what marriage was not. I knew what was expected of me, and I knew what was not expected of me. Today, the institution of marriage is like the Wild West. It's unpredictable, it's uncontrollable. A lot of kids aren't even getting married. By not getting married, they're not living a traditional family life, and thereby not raising their children in that traditional family setting, changing the paradigm for the next generation, and they don't think that's a problem. All that began in the 1960s. For those educated in the public system in the last 20 years, that's 60 years ago. 3 generations or more of Americans have been deprived of the tools necessary for a successful marriage, family, economic platform. And that doesn't even get into the religious foundation. And the question becomes, does it really matter? Look around. Look at young people today, how they act, how they dress, what they believe, the values they have, the sense of responsibility they may or may not have. And you tell me, is it in the water? No. It's in the home. We've lost it. And as such, we've lost our culture.